Let's talk about it. The biggest thing is going to be your feet. You're going to be traveling, you're going to be trying to get back to where you're going, to get back home, or to get back to somebody who can help you. So if we don't take care of our feet, well, you're not going to get very far at all. Before we start on that, important note, like I always talk about, if you're lucky enough to have a rifle or some type of weapon, make sure you always keep that within arm's reach. That's going to be a standard that you always be held to. So I have that moment to stop in order to take care of my feet, whether that be at the end of the day, if I cross a river and I get super wet and I'm in a safe position, I can go ahead and change those socks. So you should always have an extra change of socks on you. I already have a pack video, so we're not going to talk too much about it. Suffice to say, I like to say what my buddy Fife says, who did the same job I did, which is when you know a lot, you don't need a lot. Because the thing you got to think about is you're packed for combat, you don't have a lot of room for survival gear. So make do with not a whole lot. So I've swapped socks. It's going to be really important, I know it sounds lame, is to keep clean, dry socks on you as much as possible. We generally recommend merino wool, some type, Darn Tough, Smart Wool. There are tons of different manufacturers. Find a good wool sock that works for you. We mostly use Darn Tough. On this channel, Micah, what do you use?
The Costco Merinos.
They work. The point is, once we've swapped our socks, we probably have maybe 2 to 3 pairs in a combat pack, maybe at most 1 extra pair. So you need to make sure that you're rotating them. Now, oftentimes these socks will be wet, so the question is, how do I dry them? There's a couple different ways. If we're in a really cold environment, it's actually not too difficult. You're just gonna hang them off the edge of your pack and you're going to let them freeze dry. So on this pack right here, I can simply tuck them through the loops, tighten that down as I'm going. Those are going to freeze dry, and that's going to, then I can just simply knock off that ice and they're gonna dry quite quickly. In a dry environment, that's gonna be fairly easy, just hang them off your pack. In a wet environment is where it becomes more difficult. So in a wet environment, what I typically will do is I'll take my socks and I'm going to tuck them into my layers right here. For my guys who attended SERE, you know what I'm talking about. And if you need to get them a little deeper, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna rotate them against your body heat, and that will allow your body heat to dry them out as you're moving. You wanna tuck them off enough so that they're not exposed to the elements, but that will dry out your socks fairly quickly. So after about an hour of walking, I'll swap them